taking out our crystal ball and looking into the future. The last 7 games of the season for the Arizona Cardinals, Johnny, we're giving full predictions.
Yep, predictions. Plus, we're going to look ahead. Arizona Cardinals projected top 2 in NFL cap space to this offseason. All that more on PHNX Cardinals now. Hey, welcome in live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast on a football bye-week Friday. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's my co-host, Brack, in Studio K. Damon, Dawg, producer extraordinaire behind the mic. This phenomenal Football Friday on a bye-week podcast presented by our friends at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. And find out why, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. With Bet365, I'm betting on a big second half en route maybe to a postseason berth for the Arizona Cardinals, Brack, and that's what we're doing here today. It's prediction time.
That's right. We're going to get into the weeds as far as the final 7 games of this Arizona Cardinals season, starting after this bye week. We're expecting a very broken Seahawks team to be hosting the Cardinals at 4-6 after losing to the Niners this upcoming weekend. I mean, we'd love for the Seahawks to win a game this upcoming weekend. That'd be nice. That'd be on the watch list. But unfortunately, I don't think it's possible. But yeah, we're gonna get into it. Also, what are we doing with our bye week? What are you doing Saturday and Sunday? And we talked about the Budda Baker conversation, the Jeremy Fowler report on Wednesday. Cardinals have a ton of cap space. Some of it could go to Budda, but still going to have a lot of an ability to spend some dollars this offseason. We'll get into how much that is and who they could potentially utilize that on.
Seattle Seahawks, strong, I would say, 2012 Arizona Cardinal vibes. Started 4-0, ended 5-11. I think that's what we're going to see from Seattle. Is Ken Wisenhunt coaching Kevin Cobb and John Skelton on that Seahawks team around the corner? And let's jump into it, Brack. The schedule for the Cardinals, the second half, there's 7 games. We've outlined it before. Cardinals have a distinct quarterback advantage in 6 of 7, and I would argue the 7th game, Stafford in LA, what is going to be left of the LA Rams at that point? They looked awful on Monday Night Football against the Dolphins. Stafford did not look good. Like, we're going to go through this schedule, and Cardinals aren't going to go 7-0, we don't think, but with Kyler Murray fresh off earlier this week, an Offensive Player of the Week award again. It's a record-breaking. I think 6 times he's won that award. I mean, he's the best quarterback right now in this division, and he's the best quarterback the Cardinals are going to face in conjunction with these games. And that's got to make you feel pretty good that they're at least going to come out on the winning side of this schedule.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a couple tough defensive matchups. When you look at Minnesota and when Brian Flores and now back as a trendy, head coaching candidate, and then what the Patriots can do on the defensive side of the football. They're a mess offensively, but can still D it up a little bit. I think that, Kyler Murray is going to have still some good tests to keep him, strong and focused throughout this schedule. But yeah, I mean, as far as his counterparts, like he should have the edge in most of these games, especially after watching even Stafford in that game on Thursday night against the Dolphins. I mean, we saw what Kyler did to the Dolphins defense, and we saw what Matthew Stafford didn't do against the Dolphins defense. So yeah, I think that Kyler, you'd be hard pressed to find a quarterback playing better than him right now in the league. It's pretty incredible to say. And, based off that, and yeah, this is recency bias and riding a 4-game winning streak going into the bye week. But, I think that the team did a lot of dirty work in on the way, facing some of that adversity with a tough schedule early on, especially offensively, that they came out on the other side in a position to really kind of make some noise and continue this positive trend, like especially on the offensive side of the football. I think, there's some key components on the defensive side that have to happen, but you can come out of the bye with your starting right tackle back in place in Jonah Williams and your quarterback playing his best ball and clicking and firing off on all cylinders with his playmakers.
Some of the matchups, I will admit, like, I think they should be wins for the Cardinals, but like the Panthers are playing better. The Patriots are playing better, right? Like I still expect the Cardinals to come out with dubs in those games. I'm assuming you do as well. But I mean, the Cardinals have a chance now, like a lot of these teams in the first half, to stack wins. I mean, the Cardinals had the toughest strength of schedule through the first month and a half. And the fact that they're sitting here on a bye week, 6-4. I mean, it's a modern NFL coaching miracle. I mean, especially given the miscues that they've had with roster construction with the pass rush, which we've outlined, the injuries that have piled up. I mean, the last 2 weeks, they have not been competitive. They have been as dominant as they've ever been, at least, post Bruce Arians years. So I'm fired up to break down this schedule. We don't know what we're picking. Bo and I are going to go game by game with Damon Dawg here. Go ahead.
Let me make one more point. I mean, I think that just the road to 6-4 couldn't have played out better for this team and its psyche. And it's just as far as you come out of the gates, you play a tough team, tight. You have a final possession to go down and score. Sure, you come up short there against Josh Allen and the Bills. The next week, you just blow the doors off a team that traditionally does that to you. Sean McVay and the Rams, undermanned, be damned, they still took care of business. And then, things I think started to get a little rocky. Like offensively, you start to kind of lose your way. You play tight against the Lions, which is probably the best team in the conference right now. You lose that by a possession, and then the humbling experience happens, right? And then you have that must win in week 5 against the Niners. And I think that this is where it starts to kind of help this team find its identity, to where their processes, I think for the most part, were in good standing and in good place, but they needed to know that roster-wise, they weren't good enough to just show up and compete with the team across from them. They had to be tightened down. They couldn't play bad football like they did in Green Bay. Those two humbling things happened, and then they were able to scratch and claw their way to some really hard-fought wins where they came back in the fourth quarter, and I think it kind of gave them the results to kind of make the process, them realize that their processes that are in place are the right ones. And then if they kept doing that, when you had teams that were, of your weight class or below, that you could just, if you put in the work and you were as focused as you needed to be, you were going to win. You're going to win handily. And that's what happened the last 2 weeks with a couple of dysfunctional teams with the Bears and the Jets.
I think it also speaks to the fact the Chargers have not lost since the Cardinals beat them. They're a real team. Now they've got a ceiling talent-wise. The same thing for Miami. I've been impressed with Miami in their last 2 games, albeit one was a last-second field goal loss to Buffalo, but then Miami just completely handling the LA Rams in LA. I mean, that win looks better by the day, I think, for the Arizona Cardinals. Miami's a real team. Had they not lost Tua, would firmly be in the postseason discussion, Bo. So I think for the Arizona Cardinals, you've got your arrow trending, pointing clearly up. Whereas a lot of these teams, it's hanging on for your life. You look at Chicago, right? Yeah. Maybe some Bear fans projected that they would be around 500, but it's the optics of how they get there. Yeah. Whereas on the flip side with the Cardinals, the optics could not be better.
Let's take a look. Hospice care. That team is on hospice care right now. It's just sorry. Is that
no? That's fine. I mean, hopefully they get out.
You got reports coming out of Hallis Hall where this team is they want Caleb benched.
Yeah.
There's just dysfunction that's just pouring out of the organization in Chicago. And there couldn't have been I think the way the Cardinals are battle tested, that there isn't and Gannon says this all the time, a connected team, right? Yeah. What Damon Dawg, what's the Torey Lovello thing as far as a connected team?
Is a dangerous team.
Is a dangerous team. And I think that's what the Cardinals have. I think that there is very real connection from all 3 phases, and then also from the coaching staff to the roster to the front office. And instead, you look around the league, and there are some teams where that is just not the case.
No. And we laugh at them. We laugh at them wholeheartedly. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Before we jump into our predictions, that's right around the corner. Quickly, I want to talk to you about some of our favorite partners here at PHNX Cardinals. One of my absolute faves, indefinitely. We were so fired up when we got to partner with Circle K, and just every single time I go to America's Thirst Stop, I'm saving money, me and my family, because we're part of the Inner Circle. It's a free membership program, and you could too. Easy to download. Enter your email or phone number to be fully enrolled. After that, all you do, get your phone number out to get the deals. Okay, save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, then save 3 cents per gallon every single day. And again, there's tons of exclusive deals, offers, snacks. How about this one? Polar Popper Froster. You guys know the deal, just 79 cents. You know it because it's become a flippin' staple. Thirst has met its match. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com, Bo, for more details.
It was glorious using my free membership as the Inner Circle. I was paying way under $3 per gallon at the pump today, thanks to our friends over at Circle K. Love them. Of course, I cashed in even more so with the Polar Pop. Also, talking about cashing in and being proud to represent your brand, the Inner Circle. And then, of course, there's Branded Bills. Branded Bills is going to help you elevate your brand. Whether it's your company, whether it's your kids' little league softball team, peewee football team, or it's your co-ed softball league, your men's, soccer league, whatever it may be. There's something for everyone where they want to look nice, they want to feel good, play good, perform well. Get the snapbacks, truckers, fitted, beanies, or tees with the Branded Bills that has you covered with their performance and their style. It's a local company, Mesa, Arizona, but man, it's worldwide right now. People are utilizing Branded Bills to elevate their brand. And if you're looking for some gear to make your brand stand out of the crowd, check out Branded Bills and save some money while doing so by just being a viewer, a listener of this podcast. 20% off with the code PHNX right now. Go to brandedbills.com. You can rep U of A, ASU, part of their campus collection, brandedbills.com. Use the code PHNX for 20% off your first order at brandedbills.com.
We got so much good stuff coming up with PHNX Sports and Branded Bills. We can't unveil just yet. So flippin' excited about our partnerships. Excited to talk schedule predictions. 7 games left. Who would have thought? One of us? You guys thought we'd be here, sitting here, 7 games out from an NFC West championship? We didn't lose faith. How will the second half look? 10 games into this season. Let's get it. Prediction time. Let's throw that schedule up on the screen. Damon, Dawg, and I think we're going to go around the room here. We're going to look at the remaining schedule. We're going to look right now, Cardinals post-bye, Seahawks, Vikings, Seahawks, Pats, Panthers, Rams, San Francisco. We're starting with a place Cardinals have had, relative success in recent years, at Seattle, right before Thanksgiving on the 24th of November. Post-bye, Cardinals are going to get 2 weeks off. You assume the Niners are going to play a very physical game against San Francisco. Bo, I'll start with you. Cardinals, win or loss, week 12.
This needs to be a win. This needs to be a continuation of the previous 2 weeks where you're stomping on an opponent that is just trying to stay in the fight, that's taken a couple hits. At this point, I expect the Seahawks to be riding a 3-game losing skid. I don't care that it's at home. It doesn't seem that things are really going well in any direction for Seattle under its first-year head coach and Mike McDonald. 4-5 right now, probably going to be 4-6. They struggle in some key areas that we saw the previous couple opponents struggle in as well, and that's slowing down the rushing attack. That's an undisciplined team as well. I just see too many similarities between the Bears, the Jets, and the Seahawks. And as we mentioned in the first segment, you got the consistency at the quarterback position, Kyler Murray with the Cardinals. You're not getting that with Geno Smith going into week 10, 11 touchdowns, 10 picks. And then, of course, the continuity at the head coaching and the coaching staffs led by Jonathan Gannon against the first-year head coach in McDonald in Seattle. I think he's got the edge as well.
Yeah, there's nothing I like with Seattle more than I like with Arizona outside of maybe some defensive linemen. I think the Cardinals have the edge top to bottom offensively. Jackson Smith and Jigba is having a nice year. DK Metcalf has been banged up, and Tyler Lockett's kind of a shell of himself. you look at Seattle, you mentioned the run defense, 140 yards just under per game. We expect that to go up after this week against San Francisco. They're already bottom tier. I think they're like 27th in the NFL against the run. What do the Cardinals want to do on the road in sloppy, wet Seattle? They're going to run the football with James Conner, Trey Benson. They're going to put Kyler Murray on the move. I just feel like the Cardinals have too much good mojo right now. And Mike Macdonald, like you and I kind of were lukewarm on that hire, and everybody nationally was like, perfect, get Pete Carroll out of here. I mean, find out, F around and find out. I mean, Pete Carroll's going to the Hall of Fame. Pete Carroll every single year had that team in position to win. That team won 9 games last year, had no business doing so. I mean, Mike Macdonald has an aging Geno Smith that has looked awful, can't beat San Francisco, can't win a division game. I think there's a possibility Seattle goes 0-6 this year in the NFC West. Now, I could have just put my foot in my mouth. Did they beat the Rams earlier this year? No, they did not. So, yeah, there's a possibility they could go 0-6 in the division. That would not surprise me. Here are the teams Seattle has beaten. They beat Bo Nix in his debut. They beat Jacoby Brissett. They beat the Tua-less Dolphins, and then they started 3-0. Everybody could tell they were a fraud. They lost 3 straight, somehow beat Atlanta in Atlanta. Kirk Cousins had an off game, and then have subsequently lost the last 2 weeks.
They're 2-4 at home, and those 2 wins that you mentioned, one against Bo Nix in the opener, and then the other against, was it Skylar Thompson, Damon, Dawg? I mean, those are not.
And those games were close.
They were close. Well, Dolphins.
That Dolphins game, Damon and I watched the whole. Damon, you remember that game?
It was a lot closer than the really final score indicated.
A lot of respect for you guys hanging in on that game.
It was gross, but it was close.
It's been a
Dolphins were in the red zone like the whole game. Just couldn't score. Damon, are we sweeping week 12 here?
Yeah, I trust this coaching staff too much after a bye week to not be prepared to face off against the Seahawks. I think Jonathan Gannon and crew are too good to allow that to happen. So I think the Cardinals win.
Good point by Damon too. Gannon 1-0 after bye weeks last year, beat Atlanta at home. Has a chance to go 2-0, Bo.
Yeah, I mean that's good coaching. I took the Steelers last week, and I know they snuck it out against the Commanders. Is what Mike Tomlin does coming off a bye. He's now 14-4. I mean, that's obviously he's been in that position for a long time, and there's a lot more of a proven track record than one game. But I mean, that's what good coaches do. They take the opportunity to study up on their opponent and prepare their teams. And you're going to see that, a coach who can give you the advantage coming off a bye, what that can do for you. Absolutely.
Let's keep it going here. Week 13, I think maybe the hardest matchup on paper of this post-bye slate, not necessarily because of the opponent, although they have a good record. The Cardinals have not won in Minnesota, since the late 70s, I believe. Not looking good. That has been very much a house of horrors. Most of these games historically have not been competitive, Bo. So while Sam Darnold has not played well, the Vikings are very fortunate. They've basically, Minnesota have locked up a playoff spot. This Sunday they play Tennessee. I feel like they just rotate between Jacksonville and Tennessee and these scrap teams. They obviously are benefiting from playing the AFC South, but I mean, give them credit. Earlier this year, they beat the Niners, Texans, and Packers 3 straight games, but since then could have easily lost 4 in a row. Narrow wins to the Colts and Jaguars just by 5.
Yeah, and this is going to be where you are going to have to kind of switch up what's been working for you. Like we've seen the Cardinals go up what's going to be 3 consecutive teams that struggle with the run, and that is not the Minnesota Vikings. That's their strength. Their rush defense is one of the best in the league. We'll see what happens going forward, but this is going to have to be a Kyler Murray game. And can Kyler Murray combat what Flores and that defense is going to do? Like, they're opportunistic, right? They've already forced 15 interceptions from opposing quarterbacks, which is a great number. But then at the same time, they've given up a ton of yards, and they've given up their fair share of passing touchdowns. I think it's got to be a Kyler game. He's got to show that he's best quarterback on the field, because we know who's on the other side. And as you keep on mentioning, is turning back into the draft bust that he once was in Sam Darnold, starting to turn the football over, starting to see this offense really sputter, and really have a tough time putting points up on the board. What they went with scoring 12 last week against the Jags.
Bad.
You got to have, maybe a Rallis defensive, performance where he keeps the opposing offense out of the end zone, for most of the game.
I'll start my prediction. I'm going to go L here. Just historically, this has not been a good place for the Cardinals. And again, I love the trajectory of both of these teams for different reasons. The Vikings are playing some of their worst football of the year. Cardinals are playing their best football of the year. So there is a path to victory. But I do think, I saw some clips of Daniil Hunter last week and just wrecking people. Or no, I'm sorry, he's on Houston now.
Jonathan
Grenard.
Yeah.
And he looks fantastic. That defense has not let up. The offense has its kind of ebbs and flows. And here's what I will say about the Cardinals defense, Bo. It's been sensational at home. On the road, it's just been okay. The Miami game, Tua kept them in that game. They were pretty fortunate. I think there's a shelf life for the Cardinals defense, specifically on the road.
Yeah.
I think Cardinals to win at Minnesota, you got to score 27 points. That's a lot to ask. So I will say a narrow loss for the Indiana Cardinals.
I'm with you on that. I think you have to be realistic with this. I don't want to just take my pom-poms out and just
fanboy out.
Yeah, exactly. But this just kind of, if there is going to be a bump in the road and you would like to see them perform against the team that they could potentially see come January in the postseason. But the Vikings have taken care of business so far at home. I think they have a distinct home field advantage. The only thing I would say, and this is a bit of a reach.
Okay.
When I think about when things truly started to go south for Kyler Murray, for the Kingsbury era Cardinals, I date back to that Vikings game. We remember the Hard Knocks, the midseason. It started with Kyler kind of storming off the field, furious that they had lost that game to the Vikings. And then it just was it was over from there for the most part. Does he have a chip on his shoulder going up against this Vikings team? I think there's some familiarity too. I think Gannon and Rallis might have something up their sleeve for O'Connell, but I'm going to give the edge just because they're hosting. It's an earlier kickoff time, and I know those are problems of the past of this organization. But I'm going to get, as it stands right now on November 15th, I'm going to give the edge to the home team Vikings. But we'll see. There's some football to be played between now and then. My pick might change between now and when we're making predictions 2 weeks from today.
I think there's a distinct possibility too. Sam Darnold, who looked atrocious the last 2 weeks, continues to erode. That's a positive development if you're a Cardinal fan, where how long can they hold on for dear life when, the ghost of, ghosts past come after Sam Darnold in the pocket.
Guys seeing ghosts out there? Yeah.
I need to see more ghosts with Sam Darnold, more interceptions. Damon, what do you think? Cardinals at Vikings, week 13.
I'll show some guts here.
Wow.
I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I just don't believe in Sam Darnold at all. And I think we're seeing the erosion of this dream start to the season for them. So I think the Cardinals are good enough to pull this one off.
I'd love to see it. I think that the defense keeping, slowing down big plays and opposing passing attacks, and they've done that. Can they slow down Justin Jefferson and crew? Will Hawkinson be even more involved in there?
I mean, here's what I will say. They lost their left tackle. Cam Robinson is not good.
Stinks.
Darisaw was really good.
Yeah.
So they don't have their left tackle. Darnold is eroding. Aaron Jones has been banged up. Now they have elite skill players, and it's that defense, man. The Jonathan Bouliard and Grenard and Harrison Phillips, I think, and
your boy Van Ginkel.
Van Ginkel, and I think Harrison Smith still playing good football. Who looks good for them is Byron Murphy, ex-Cardinal, had a pick the other day. So, but again, Cardinals have made a lot of good defenses look bad. So we'll see if they can keep that going. All right. So
look, they take away the run very well, and I think that's the one factor that we hadn't seen in Miami, Chicago, Jets.
Cardinals can run it on anybody though right now.
Yeah, that would be a true flex for the Cardinals if they can do that. And Sam Darnold, settle in, Vikings fans. I mean, it looks like JJ McCarthy had another knee surgery. So
yikes.
When's he coming back?
Can you say botched job? We don't want to root for that, but I mean, We were all thinking it. We're all thinking botch. Let's look at the schedule here. Do you want to let's just steamroll old Mike McDonald here in week 14. Do we all agree Cardinals coming back regardless of the outcome? Like Seattle and Arizona.
If they can't get it done at home against the Cardinals, how are they going to do it on the road against the Cardinals? The Seahawks at that point, Johnny, they would go like they do get a little bit of a reprieve with the Jets. They have to go across the country in order to take them on.
I think they lose that game, by the way.
They probably do. So they're probably riding a 5-game losing streak by then.
Love it. You're talking about the Q word at that point, quit. And then there are going to be some serious conversation. I mean, they're going to be in the market for a quarterback. DK Metcalf, those guys aren't going to be happy. So
who would it be?
I mean, I think they wanted Michael Penix this year. They wanted to move up and get him. They couldn't get him. I think you're going to look at, like a Quinn Ewers or somebody for them. I think you're getting a Quinn boy, somebody like that. Maybe a Carson Beck. That would get Shane Diefenbach really fired up, wouldn't it, Damon?
Sure, huh?
I could see Shedeur going to the Raiders or the Seahawks. I like those fits.
Yeah, he's going to get to dictate where he goes, according to Dion. They're going to pick their team.
Yeah.
I'm out on Shedeur at the NFL level. I think he's a great college player. I wouldn't want to be involved with the Sanders at the NFL level. That would be too nuts.
He actually reminds me a lot of Geno Smith.
Yeah.
I remember like all the DNVR people were given Joe Burrow comps, which is like one of the most egregious things of all time.
Yeah, I bet they were. I love our
Joe
friends
Burrow
at DNVR.
had like the single greatest college football season of all time.
In no world is Shedeur Sanders Joe Burrow. What?
That's a thing that's been talked about multiple times on DNVR.
Hey, he's a pocket passer. He must be Joe Burrow.
Oh yeah, let's move on before.
That is, Damon, I wish you hadn't told me that. That is an egregious comp. Get that out of here. All right, so Bo and I have the Cardinals firmly at 2-1. Can they make it 3-1?
So 2-1 would make them 8-5.
Oh my God.
Well, let me just say first, I think this game will be closer than the one on the road, just because of the bye week factor, in my opinion. I really, it is tough to play a team twice in 3 weeks. I think NFL coaches are good enough, even if Gannon's staff is better than McDonald's staff, that like they'll make adjustments because it was such a short time ago. So I think this one could go either way, but I'll go ahead and say the Cardinals sweep the Seahawks here.
Josh Dobbs was scraps last year, almost beat the Seahawks, and Matt Prater thankfully blew that game in week 8. The Cardinals' worst gutted roster should have beaten Seattle twice last year. And
the ESPN matchup predictor has the Cardinals as 60% favorite, according to ESPN analytics for this game.
That's not nearly high enough.
Sorry, it's not high enough for you.
All right, what about the following week, Damon? Let's see it. Now we continue in to the soft underbelly of the schedule. Drake May, and I couldn't name a receiver other than Jalen Polk, come to State Farm Stadium. Ramondre Stevenson, and no pass rush. They traded all of it. But the Patriots are scrappy. They got 3 wins this year. They are not the worst team in the NFL, like a lot of people thought. I do think they're well coached. But I also think for the Arizona Cardinals, like this needs to be another like beatdown game. Like here are what the Patriots do well. They don't beat themselves, but they don't have the talent to overcome, average play to below average play. They beat the Bears because the Bears are a disaster. But this is a team that's lost to the Jags, Titans, Dolphins, Jets, Seahawks this year. They don't score many points. I think they've only scored over 20 points twice this year. So, I mean, Cardinals score 3 touchdowns. This one's probably toast.
Yeah. This is this game and the next game. I mean, you can just lock me in for wins. Like, you need to take care of business. Patriots, Panthers, PP, dub. I just think that the Patriots, they can't slow the run down. It's a strength of the Cardinals. I think you can play defense against Drake May. And
Drake May's looked a lot better than I thought he was.
Sure, he looks like the second best quarterback in the draft compared to, third best. Is Bo Nix ahead of Drake May?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So we've got Jaden, Bo Nix, Drake May, Caleb Williams.
Caleb's by far the worst.
I'd say You go Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Drake May, JJ McCarthy, who hasn't played a snap, Michael Penix, who also hasn't played a snap, and
Spencer
then
Rattler. Don't forget about Spencer Rattler.
For sure, Spencer Rattler, and then you throw in Caleb.
Yes.
Okay.
That was
I
my
think
ranking
that's
as
fair.
well, David.
I don't think anything's unfair in that. Yeah. Give me a dub here at home. I know there's going to be a lot of mass holes here. We got some New England Patriots fans, but I think the Cardinals continue to take over the nest. And yeah, give me the Cards.
And we're in unison. Cardinals have to go to Carolina and beat Chuba Hubbard and Bryce Young.
Now, this is where I you know where I stand, but you are the biggest Panthers stan there is outside of Mecklenburg County out there in Charlotte.
There's so much to like about this Panther team is kind of where I'm coming from. Chuba Hubbard is a staple of my PHNX sports fantasy team. Check.
Yeah.
I love
Johnny.
Yes, I
Johnny,
love
keep pounding Venerable. Isn't that they're saying there? Keep pounding.
I loved Xavier Leggett on the show coming into the draft, and he is just wholesome as hell with his Southern accent. And listen, he's a nice player, although he's averaging under 10 yards per completion this year. Not great. Bryce Young, back-to-back wins. Chuba Hubbard, good player. Got Clowney and Ashawn Robinson, J.C. Horn. But no, Cardinals need to destroy.
This is a Kyler Murray game. This is a Kyler Murray stat padding game. This defense stinks against the pass. Awful. And against the run, for that matter. Actually, the worst team against the run.
Not good.
This is going to be a bludgeoning.
Not a good team.
They're going to go to Charlotte. They're going to take care of business, and they're going to get out of town.
All right, Damon, let's see the schedule. So you're telling me we're pretty unison. Cardinals coming out of the bye are going to be 4-1 in the second half of the season and somehow get to 9-5. I'm sorry, 10-5.
But that's the brilliance of coming out of that tough stretch 6-4, because we knew that this schedule, like this matches up with our forecast back in May.
It does.
I mean, outside of the Vikings,
it's called playing with house money.
These are who we thought they were.
Well, I think we thought the Vikings would be
like,
decent.
oh, you know what? I think that the Seahawks will surprise some people.
Shane Diefenbach.
Yeah, but we kicked him off. We kicked him off this pod a long time ago.
Shane, get real, bro. Geno Smith. So Damon's got the Cardinals 5-0, which I would sign up for. 4-1 post bye gets us to 10-5. It's crazy that the Cardinals potentially will be 10-5, and the playoffs are not a sure thing. Isn't that nuts? Like, we're going to go through all that accolades. We could be sitting here week 17 at LA with still a lot to prove.
Well, let's see this. Damon, you have the graphic with the Cardinals, the Rams, and the Niners?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, I need to see that.
I also added the Seahawks to it.
Oh my God, let's laugh at them. I don't see a win for maybe Caleb week 17, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good call. Rams here, they'll probably lose to the Eagles, and they'll probably lose to the Bills.
They're going to be out. They're dead. They're dead. They're not getting swept by San Francisco. San Francisco's beating them. That game's in Santa Clara. Like, I would love for that to not be the case, but the LA Rams are going to end up about 8-9, 7-10. Don't you think?
But if they lose, just conservatively, Eagles and Bills and Niners, that's 3 more. That's 8 losses. And they take care of business against the Saints and the Pats and the Jets. I mean, they're still in it. Like that game in week 17 that they're hosting the Cardinals. I mean, they're not going to just sit Matthew Stafford. Like, they're going to have something to play for in that game, in my opinion.
All right. So what are you saying here? Let's just keep this up. Are you saying Cardinals take an L?
No, I mean, I think that the Cardinals are the Rams going to be able to narrow the margin of a 41-10 butt kicking that they took in week 2? Like, I know that their defense is playing a little bit better, but they still are a very flawed football team. So I will take the Cardinals on the road. It's not a home field advantage for me, for the Cardinals.
I have concerns. I think the Rams are dead, but I'm with you. I don't think they're going to quit. I have concerns. They welcome back 2 interior linemen that didn't look good on Monday night, and Steve Avila and the other guy they signed, Jackson from Detroit.
Jonah Jackson.
Jackson. But those guys, if they're healthy, are going to get into shape for the next month and probably be playing good at the end of the year. I'm guessing, if they're back now. So that's scary, especially like Puka Nacua getting his feet wet. I think this will be a very close game. I think it could go either way if the Rams are trying to be competitive. I will actually have them taking a loss here. I think it's a lot to ask for this. Listen, nobody wants this team to be 6-0 post by more than me, but realistically speaking, like it just doesn't ever come this easy.
You couldn't get it done at home against the Dolphins this past week.
I know, and I think they're dead, and I buried them. But I do feel like if Stafford
have one zombie performance against the Cardinals in Week 17,
if Stafford, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, their O-line's healthy and their defense is getting better, like I could see the Cardinals losing this game. I hope not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying, hey, just you can rubber stamp this one a dub for the Cardinals, but I mean, I understand like that the Rams have some serious talent, but if there was a team that has been told repeatedly 2024 is just not their year, it's the Rams.
But here's where the kicker is for me. The Cardinals are winning Week 18 against the San Francisco 49ers. So everybody will sell their stock for 1 week, and that will allow Gannon to galvanize this team over a 6-day period on Sunday Night Football for the first true nationally televised game that the Cardinals will have had in 2 years, and they will beat the Niners at home and win the NFC West at 11-6. That is my prediction.
So the Cardinals are 51.5% according to ESPN's win predictor in analytics in the Rams game against the 49ers. The Niners are overwhelming favorites, 55% going on the road. Who are they down right now? They are down. They're never going to get Ayuk back this season, but they're getting stronger. They're getting closer to full strength, correct?
Greenlaw and Ufunga are going to play. Greenlaw can't run, though. Come on, get out of here.
Please put him on the field.
Yeah, Greenlaw, bro, with his broken Achilles.
I love Greenlaw, though, because he tried to fight Big Dom. So I like for life, he's my guy.
I think the Niners have a shelf life. When you have that many lengthy postseason runs without hardware, or sometimes with, it finally catches up to you, and everybody's like, "I'm shocked. They're still in the Super Bowl bubble." I think it's burst. I think it's done. I think that game will be competitive. Cardinals are younger. At certain positions, they're more athletic. Give me Gannon and Nick. Give me Nick Rallis against Kyle Shanahan in one game at State Farm Stadium. Let me see it. Does anybody think McCaffrey's just going to go off for the next 7 weeks? Like, I think conservatively, like, he looks okay. I don't know, man. So much good stuff. The Cardinals are trending to what the Niners used to be. Young, making tight end.
I think taking care of business on the road against the Rams the previous week could put the Cardinals in a position to where the game is essentially meaningless for them.
Does anybody believe that's going to happen? I would love that too. Does anyone believe that's going to happen?
You have to look at the evidence that's presented to you and what the path looks like.
I agree with you. Your path leads to that game not mattering, which I would love that. Let's do that.
And the previous, how about this stat? Who did the Niners play the previous week to the Cardinals? And who always comes out just beaten down? Look at that Week 17 matchup against.
Will they have anything to play for, Bo, in Week 17?
It's a physical game.
They could. I mean, with the Packers, it depends on how good the Packers are, in my opinion.
Also, they need home field advantage. And Damon, revenge factor. The Lions want to destroy the Niners after last year. Don't you think? Like, we're not going to let these guys sit in our head. That's a great point. And listen, the Dolphins are a fun team. The Niners schedule.
Dolphins are fighting for their life still. They'll play that game hard.
How many tough games do they have? Week 12, Week 13, Week 15, 16, 17, 18. It's there for Arizona to win this game.
Yeah. I mean, just how the schedule's flipped. The Cardinals played the strength of their schedule at the beginning of the season, and then it thins out at the end. It works out to where if they just take care of business, they can put themselves in a position to where the Niners are fighting for their lives and the Cardinals can just start making plans hopefully is maybe like the 3rd seed in the NFC.
The key to this season, I think we all agree, the key to this 7-game stretch is smoking the Seahawks twice. If they do that, you're winning the division, in my opinion. You have to beat the Seattle Seahawks twice. Whatever happens in Minnesota, throw it away. I know you tiebreakers for wild cards. You want to win the NFC West, put the NFC West on ice, and you're 4-0 against the NFC West before those last 2 games. It's going to be hard for the Niners, who started 0-2 in the division, to overcome that. So,
don't leave that door open.
No,
don't leave it with a bad loss. An uninspired performance against one of these bottom feeders in the league. Like, don't give any of these, the Seahawks, Patriots, Panthers, an opportunity to get back, to get any kind of momentum or create any momentum for some teams behind you in the division.
Could any team in the NFC West lose during Arizona's bye week? We're going to examine that, plus some cap space talk coming up next on PHNX Cardinals. But first, let's talk about our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, the site of our watch parties, Wild Horse Pass. Can't wait to get back out there. We mentioned that Seahawk outing. We're going to be back out there a week from Sunday, our favorite sportsbook location, the largest in Arizona. Go all in with 4,500 slots, live table games, and more. And again, go big and go home a winner. From upscale to approachable, how about A Shula's Steakhouse? Unbelievable views. Pool season might be coming to an end, but how about rooftop fire pit season, baby? An unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement await you at our premier watch party site. And again, it's not just Cardinals. We have 4 road games left. How about this? Suns watch parties, right? Suns, one of the hottest teams in the Western Conference. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details. The sign-up is available. Come and sign up for our watch party a week from Sunday. We're going to keep these vibes going. It's the best time to watch a Cardinal game with PHNX Cardinals.
Lots of dubs on those for those road games that we just predicted. So check it out. Come and enjoy the vibes at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. And also check out our friends over at Sanderson Ford. Talk about keeping things rolling. Why not do it behind the wheel of a brand new Ford F-150, or one of the many great cars and vehicles they have on their inventory? 900 new and pre-owned vehicles on the lot. 65-acre lot, by the way. It's gorgeous. And they've got their own little cafeteria diner in there. You can just go in, enjoy a nice, delicious meal if you're having your car looked at, inspected, serviced. It's Sanderson Ford. They do everything right, especially their sales approach. It's no nonsense. It's no pressure. It's no hassle. It's about, do you want to buy this car? Well, we're going to put you in the best position to do so. And right now, they've got 3.9 APR financing for 66 months plus $4,000 cash back. Similar savings over 900 new and pre-owned vehicles on the lot. Don't miss Sanderson Ford's Black Friday thank you sale. OAC through Ford Credit. Up to $4,000 cash back. Requires a trade-in of 95 or newer. Offer expires November 30th.
Everybody be sure drop a like on this stream. Check us out. GoPHNX.com. Let's quickly look at the remaining schedules one more time, Damon. Is there a possibility that the LA Rams, the Niners, obviously the Seahawks, suffer a loss this week? What percentage are we giving Seattle to beat the Niners this week? Like 1%?
Yeah.
That's in San Francisco, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not giving them really any chance to beat San Francisco.
That line right now has been hovering over 7. Niners overwhelming favorites, but you never know. And then of course, LA playing the Patriots. And again, the Patriots are playing better, but who knows? I expect to get out of this weekend with both a Seattle loss and a win for San Francisco and LA, unfortunately.
Yeah, we can't take the Pats win over the Bears as saying much.
Bears are in their own category of dysfunction. Speaking of the Bears, can we touch on this real fast? So I've seen head coaching projections. So Eberflus, we all know, is going to get fired. The Bears, just for whatever reason, they're just waiting until January because they don't fire coaches in season.
We don't do that.
Yeah, it's great. You also don't win. You can't develop QBs. So there is some rumblings, and it's this Chad Forbes guy, but I've seen other people post this, that Cliff Kingsbury is their preferred candidate to hire as the next head coach of the Chicago Bears. here's what I will say. I think the Jets are going to be in on Cliff Kingsbury. The Jets, if you remember, tried to hire Cliff when the Cardinals hired him. Like, it was between the Cardinals and the Jets. And when these franchises have like strong-minded defensive head coaches, like the Cardinals did once upon a time with Steve Wilkes, it's the overcorrection. Robert Saleh, Matt Eberflus, we're going to go to fun, offensive, laid-back Cliff Kingsbury. And if you're the Chicago Bears, you saw what he did for Kyler Murray, and it's like, well, maybe they didn't win a ton of big games, but at least they got like the quarterback development right. So I could absolutely see Cliff being the next head coach of Chicago Bears.
I want to channel the late great Denny Green one more time and say in his famous line, "We let him off the hook." And they would be returning the favor for that game, that awful game where the Bears didn't score any offensive touchdowns and came roaring back past the Cardinals, and the Bears were who they thought they were, right? Damn it. And they would pretty much be giving Bidwell all his money back. Like a head coaching contract for Cliff Kingsbury would pretty much scrap.
It'd be done.
He would be pretty much over. That'd be unbelievable for the Cardinals. It wouldn't. I mean, I still have my reservations about Cliff Kingsbury, the head coach. I really do. Like, because he's going to go in there. He's not going to be like Jonathan Gannon and say, "Hey, if you expect me to come in here and be your head coach and your defensive coordinator, that's not going to work." Cliff would be like, "I'm coming in here. I'm the play caller."
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, let's just run through the definition of insanity here, because that's what we're gonna do. Do
you think he could have more success given that it's his second go around? And remember, he didn't have any NFL contacts. Like, Keim had to put together a staff. Like,
maybe he can like take a little bit from what he's learned in Washington, and he'll have a connection with Caleb with their time at USC, and maybe he learned from some of his mistakes. But I think there's still a long way to go. Like, as much as I'm with you, like I'll qualify this all the time. I think Cliff is a good guy.
Yeah.
I think he's a good play caller. I just don't think he's a head coach in the NFL. I just don't. And to see a team, give him another chance just based on how his offense is rolling in Washington, like I would be really, really feeling uneasy as a Bears fan.
The Bears fans I've seen on Twitter are like so fed up with this regime. They would welcome Cliff Kingsbury with open arms. They're like, look at what he did in Arizona. He won there. He went to the playoffs, and then look what he did with Jaden. Like Cliff, people consider Cliff, fair or not, Bo, like a quarterback whisperer guru guy.
Yeah.
And
he ties himself to really good quarterbacks. I mean,
Jaden, Mahomes, Kyler, Baker.
Yeah. Caleb, with the consulting, offensive quarterback analyst or whatever job he had in LA.
Assistant to the assistant.
It's what it is. It's an overcorrection. I think it's the offensive version of Eberflus. Eberflus, respectively, was a good defensive coordinator. But is he a leader of men? Is he going to be able to hold these guys accountable? He couldn't do it in AZ. He doesn't necessarily have to do it in Washington. That's Dan Quinn's job. Like, he can just be the play caller. I just don't think that's going to work. But good, because it maybe gives the Cardinals some flexibility to go spend. What was it projected about $40 million that they were on the hook for?
No longer.
I don't disagree. I think he's going to be heavily involved in the coaching carousel this offseason. And he's done his job. Now Commanders are coming off a loss. They scored 27 points. It wasn't, a bad job. The previous performance they had before that was the Hail Mary. They didn't score a whole lot of points in that. Like, the calendar's getting deeper into the year. We know what happens with Cliff Kingsbury teams. He's got to change that narrative before people like really start opening up the checkbooks and wanting to sign him to a head coaching deal.
I mean, they almost lost to the Bears. They should have lost to the Bears. They almost lost to the Giants. They lost to the Steelers. I think I'm going to guess that they lose to the Eagles this weekend at Philadelphia. Then they have the Cowboys, Titans, Saints, Eagles, Falcons, Cowboys. Their division is so bad that you can just. I mean, Dallas's descension into abyss. Like, the team is going to be able to eat that carcass for the rest of the year. We're going to talk cap space here and where the Cardinals stand ahead of this offseason coming up next year on PHNX Cardinals. From cap season and spending money to saving money, being a financial expert with our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union, the official credit union of the Arizona Cardinals, PHNX Sports, and the Venerable household, fam. That's because for more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. And again, this is not some one-off transaction. Although they have a ton of ATMs, especially here in the East Valley, they can do checking accounts, obviously, savings accounts, mortgages, right? Mortgages right now have been at an all-time low for the last 30 years, right? You think about it. Is it even a good time to get a mortgage? Interest rates continue to go up. They're going to be able to coach and tell you when the right time is to maybe refinance, get a loan, get a credit card, build some credit, an investment option for some loved ones, and more. Represent the Red Sea with the Arizona Cardinal Visa debit card. Show your team spirit. Open up a free checking account online. Get an Arizona Cardinal Visa debit card at desertfinancial.com/CardinalsBo to get started. Plus, if you're a member of the Red Sea and want to enter the Desert Financial Bird Gang giveaway sweepstakes, all you got to do, enter right now and win a prize pack that includes 4 tickets to a Cardinals away game on December 29th, hotel accommodations, airfare, theme park tickets, $2,000 Visa gift card, and more. Play like a pro right now. Get in on the game. desertfinancial.com/getawaybo for more info.
No Cardinals game, so if you're looking for maybe a natural way to get excited, doesn't exist this weekend. That's for sure. So look, if you're looking to get yourself in the mood, maybe look to give yourself an incredible performance. Maybe it's your first time with that special someone. You got to make a lasting impression. So we look to our friends, little blue tab, little blue pill, Blue Chew. We love our friends over at Blue Chew. It's an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and is in chewable form. Just chomp that little sucker down, and the process is simple. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive the prescription within days. It's that easy. It's dropped off on your doorstep. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door. And you know what the best part is? Johnny, do you know what the best damn part is?
No, I don't.
No, if you've been listening, it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office. Nobody's saying small talk and why are you here and you have to lie. It's no awkward conversations, no waiting in line in the pharmacy. You can take them anytime, day or night, and plan ahead. You'll be ready whenever the opportunity arises. We've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew for free when you use the promo code ALLCITY. One word, ALLCITY. Check out. Just pay $5 in shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code ALLCITY. Receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details, important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring PHNX Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm not paying attention. That's my read. Blue Chew wants me to do that read. I was just going to pretend one of these icebreaker mints was a Blue Chew, but that'd probably be in poor taste. So we're not going to do that. Everybody be sure to drop a like on this video. Do you like money? Do you like spending money? Cardinals better because they got a lot of it rolling over to 2025. Let's take a look. The updated cap space for the Redbirds. This is via overthecap.com. Now, this number has fluctuated. I've seen 118 million. I've seen 112 million. And then just over 100 million right now is the projected cap space. That is unequivocally the most in the NFC by a large margin. And second to only the Patriots, who have no talent, and Drake May, and above teams like the Raiders and the Commanders, who aren't paying their quarterback, and the Bears, who aren't paying their quarterback anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Kyler Murray. Everybody wants to complain about Kyler Murray's salary. Oh, no, it's going to hamper the team. Really? They have $100 million. Oh, no, Kyler Murray. Look at these other teams. Bears aren't paying anybody. Vikings quarterback just had knee surgery again. Darnold's gone. Herbert, yes, and Trevor Lawrence and the rest of those guys down the list. But the top 6 on there, it's Kyler Murray and a bunch of scraps.
Yeah, man, I love the impression of the people scared off by Kyler's contract.
Oh, no.
And like the team with the most money to spend, like nobody's gonna want to go to Foxborough. Like they couldn't lure anybody last year. Like Calvin Ridley said thanks, but no thanks. Brandon Ayuk said thanks, but no thanks. It's like keep building, guys.
Yeah.
But Drake May is not going to be able to change that between now and then. The Raiders is just complete dumpster fire. I think the Commanders are going to be a team that's armed with a bunch of cap space that's going to be in the conversation with maybe some of the free agents the Cardinals are going to have to do battle with. Bears, nobody's going to buy that again this offseason. So I think like when you look at the threats that have a lot of spending money to the Cardinals as far as some of the players that they could all be in on, Cardinals have that momentum going, that good juju with this cap space to back it up to really kind of get at any negotiation table this offseason.
Here's what I would recommend everybody do when you get some downtime. Go to overthecap.com. Click on positions and click on edge rusher. See who's making big money at the edge rusher position. See who's 25, 26, 27, and see what team they're on and if they could be moved and what they're making and if the Cardinals could take on that said contract. I'm not going to throw out any names. You guys know who the major players are in that market. You can't spend all that money in one offseason. The Cardinals, why would you? As Bo mentioned, you got to get some internal signings done. You got to get Trey McBride taken care of, maybe Budda Baker, James Conner. But you got to sniff around to some of these other teams that could be looking to bail because I love this draft class. I love draft season. Ain't nobody where the Cardinals are going to be picking can duplicate an all-pro pass rusher in the peak of their prime that could help the Cardinals, F around and win a Super Bowl. So Monty Ossenford, that is the goal of this offseason among taking care of his own, Bo.
Absolutely. And I think that the Cardinals could utilize maybe some of that draft capital and some of that cap space to maybe make an acquisition with somebody who's already locked into a deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Or somebody maybe who can't get a deal done with a team. We're just throwing that out there here on a PHNX Cardinals bi-week Friday episode. Everybody do us a favor. Go to gophnx.com. Become a diehard. There's been no better time to become a diehard than right now. We just welcomed over 125 new diehards earlier this month, and we want to keep those good vibes going. Shop the number 18 collection. It's great to see everybody repping their 18 collection on the online Twitter streets, on gophnx.com. But the season of diehards is here, and we got some holiday deals around the corner.
Absolutely. So you didn't miss your only chance to join this great community and save while doing so. Wink, wink. You know what I mean? Keep, of course, following at PHNX Sports, PHNX_Cardinals on Twitter, Instagram for all that info. Make sure you subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. Content doesn't stop rolling just because we're on bye week. Make sure to check it out. Make sure you're subbed to this channel and you like this video. We got some great games coming up, even with the Cardinals not playing. There's an ASU in action this week at 7-2. Big game against Kansas State.
Scattaboo.
That's right. You got some college hoops. Was it Duke, Arizona this weekend? Damon, Dawg? I think so. Of course, our guys down in Tucson are going to keep you up to date with that.
That's on next Friday.
I'm a liar. That's not this week, but it's coming soon. And then, you got Suns games, whole Valley sports scene.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just pulling up the highlights of the last month. Cardinal football, just crushing it. Just loving life with Arizona Cardinal football. Flipping finally with this team. We're looking ahead and we're looking back. And it's been a banner season thus far, in all seriousness, because of all of you. Drop a like on this video. Subscribe to PHNX Sports. We're so fired up for the next 7 weeks. As Jonathan Gannon says, buckle up because it's going to be a fun one here. Bo Brack, Damon, Dawg. I'm Johnny Venerable. We'll see you on Monday. Game week returns. Later.
We all silly like the mayor.